Morning, Facebook. Here today, we're looking at Psalms chapter 49, looking at verses 13 through 14. Now, you see the psalmist here, he's speaking about all those who not only are coming against his life, but he's speaking about all those who trust in themselves, who trust in what they can do, who trust in their own lives, who trust in the very things in their lives, and even the situations that surround their lives. You see, these people, their faith, it's not based on God, it's not grounded in God or what God has done in their lives. It's based on what they can do in their lives. It's based on what they can do for their lives. It's based on what's in their lives. It's based on who is in their lives. And you see, for that very reason, in verse 13, you see the psalmist here, he uses some very strong imagery when he starts off and says, the folly of this life, the foolishness of this life. And you see the reason he says that. You see, from a Christian mindset, we know this is wrong. But you see, the reason so many people, even today, are deceived by this very thing is the outside appearance. Because you see, in verse 13, that's the exact thing he says, that this person is deceived. And even others who look at his life are thinking how great his life looks, how great his life must feel on the outside because it looks good. It looks good. It even feels good for that small and brief second. When we allow our faith to be based on ourselves, to be based on what we can do, to be based on everything in our lives, all the accumulation of wealth and material items, to hold that in such high esteem. But you see what ends up happening in a human standpoint when something wrong happens, when what we love, when what we place our faith on, when what we place such heavy emphasis on in our lives, when something happens to it, when it takes a hit, when it doesn't live up to our standards, you see how our expectations are just let down. You see how our peace and how our joy seem to be damaged, how they took a hit. Now we're left feeling discouraged. Now we're left feeling anxious. Now at times we even feel angry and bitter at the world and of ourselves because we're let down. But you see what he says here. They look at, but they can't see the destruction coming. They can't see how that peace and joy they have from themselves, what they think they're getting, how soon it will be turned around. And it'll just be absolute darkness and chaos. But you see in verse 14 how he brings up that believer's hope. You see, unlike that unbeliever, unlike that one that gets distracted, unlike that one who looks away from Christ, being distracted by that storm, thinking he can solve it, much like Peter did. You see, the believer, he can have that hope, he can have that assurance, knowing that just how tough that storm is, how hard those circumstances may be, it does not change who we are. It does not change what we do. As Christians, we start our day, can we remember everything Christ has done in our lives and how he walks with us each day?